Welcome, wisdom seekers. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine an inner fortress. Imagine walls so high that the winds of criticism and the storms of rejection cannot reach you. A sanctuary within your mind where you are untouchable, free from the opinions of others, the endless need for validation, and the haunting fear of failure. Imagine being unshakable, a person who moves through life like a towering oak tree, rooted deeply in purpose and unyielding in the face of every passing storm. This is the state we are moving toward, and this is the reason we are here today. In a world constantly pulling us in every direction, true peace and true strength can only come from one place, within. It's from this place that the Stoics, those ancient architects of resilience, drew their strength. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, these were men who faced the harsh realities of life, but emerged with a serenity and clarity most of us only dream of. They learned the art of not caring, but it wasn't a careless disregard for life. No, their not caring was rooted in wisdom. They recognized that real freedom comes when we learn to let go of what doesn't matter and hold firm to what does. Today, wisdom seekers, we're diving into the 10 habits that can lead you to this place of unbreakable calm. But make no mistake, this isn't a path for the faint-hearted. These habits require persistence, discipline, and most importantly, the courage to look deeply within. The wisdom we'll discuss today is the culmination of centuries of insight, from ancient philosophers to modern thinkers, and the lessons are as transformative as they are demanding. Each habit we're about to explore is a step toward freeing yourself from the shackles of unnecessary worry, leaving you with the space to focus on what truly matters. Wisdom seekers, your support means everything. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Every like, subscribe, and donation helps us continue our mission of sharing knowledge. Ready to unlock more wisdom? Let's get started. Habit 1. Embrace the temporary nature of life. To stop caring about trivial worries and fears, we must begin with a profound understanding of life's fleeting nature. The Stoics had a term for this, memento mori, which means, remember you will die. Now, don't misunderstand this concept. This isn't about dwelling on death. It's about using the awareness of life's brevity as a tool for living more fully and fearlessly. When we remind ourselves that our time is limited, the endless worry about others' opinions or the obsession over mistakes becomes laughably small. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor with the weight of an entire empire on his shoulders, practiced this idea every day. In his writings, he tells himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Imagine being the most powerful man in the world and still reminding yourself daily of life's fragility. Why did he do this? Because he knew that by embracing mortality, he could rise above the petty concerns that plague most people. When we understand that we're only here for a short while, we gain a profound perspective that transforms every moment into an opportunity for authenticity. So let's break down how to implement this habit. Start your day with a few moments of reflection. Remind yourself that this day, just like every day, is a gift that could end at any time. Then, take that awareness into your interactions, your challenges, and your choices. When you feel the impulse to worry about what someone else thinks, pause and ask yourself, will this matter in the end? Is this worth even a moment of my limited time? This habit also helps us break free from perfectionism. When you truly grasp that each moment is precious, you realize that waiting to be good enough or to achieve a flawless result is a waste. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, put it perfectly when he said, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." Embrace the moment, imperfect as it may be, and free yourself from the paralysis of seeking perfection. The point isn't to become indifferent to life. It's to become deeply attuned to what actually matters, focusing on the things that bring you fulfillment and lasting peace. Death is a certainty, but that's not a reason to despair. On the contrary, it's a call to action. The knowledge that our time is limited should motivate us to let go of trivial matters, to stop worrying about what doesn't serve us, and to pour ourselves fully into the things that do. When we focus on living with intention, the trivial matters, the unnecessary cares, they lose their power. Remember that embracing the temporary nature of life isn't about giving up on life. It's about letting go of what keeps us from truly living. Habit 2. detach from outcomes. The second habit requires a shift that can feel completely counterintuitive in our results-obsessed world. Detachment from outcomes. Most of us have been taught to focus on achievements, accolades, and the approval of others as measures of success. But what happens when those external rewards fail to come? Or when they do come, but leave us feeling hollow? The answer lies in detaching our sense of self-worth from outcomes, a concept deeply rooted in Stoicism. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most profound philosophers of ancient times, taught, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." What does this mean for us today? It means focusing solely on our efforts, our virtues, and our integrity, while letting go of what lies beyond our control. Every day, remind yourself that true freedom lies in the ability to give your best without needing a specific result. This is the path to a calm, resilient mind. When we learn to detach from outcomes, we stop fearing failure. It's a liberating feeling to realize that your self-worth isn't defined by your successes or failures, but by your character and your commitment to doing your best. This detachment doesn't make you careless. In fact, it makes you more powerful. You become a person who cannot be controlled by praise or criticism, a person who moves forward unshaken by setbacks or rejections. Consider this. Every time you attach your self-worth to an external result, you hand over your peace of mind to something you cannot control. It's like giving a piece of yourself to the whims of the world. By detaching, you reclaim your inner peace, and this allows you to work, to create, to live without the anxiety that so often paralyzes us. Letting go of outcomes also cultivates a greater sense of presence. When you aren't obsessing over where things will end up, you can fully engage in the journey. The journey, as many have discovered, is where true joy resides. Detachment from the end result isn't about giving up ambition. It's about working hard without letting the outcome consume you. And paradoxically, when we let go of the need for specific outcomes, we often achieve more, as we're less hindered by self-doubt and fear. Embrace this habit by reminding yourself each morning, "Today I will give my best and release the rest." In each effort you make, in every challenge you face, let go of the attachment to results. You'll find that your mind becomes lighter, your heart becomes braver, and your spirit becomes unbreakable. The freedom that comes with this habit is immense, allowing you to focus on what you can control: your actions, your values, and your purpose, and letting go of the weight of everything you cannot. Habit 3. Cultivate inner acceptance. The third habit to develop on the path of letting go is to cultivate a profound sense of inner acceptance. This isn't a passive acceptance of life or a resignation to things as they are. No, it's much deeper. A commitment to accept yourself fully, in all your complexity, including your flaws, mistakes, and vulnerabilities. This type of acceptance becomes a foundation for an unshakable inner strength, for it roots your peace within, rendering you immune to external judgments or criticisms. When we develop inner acceptance, we stop living according to others' expectations and start living in harmony with our own values and truths. Imagine, for instance, a tree that stands resilient in all weather because its roots are strong. Inner acceptance acts as these roots, anchoring you in self-assurance so that external circumstances, criticism, or praise cannot sway you. When you know who you are and accept yourself fully, you lose the need to explain, justify, or seek approval. This is where the Stoics provide wisdom. They understood that peace of mind arises not from meeting the world's demands, but from aligning with one's own inner truth. As Marcus Aurelius writes, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." However, the journey toward inner acceptance is not always smooth. We live in a world that constantly shows us ideals and expectations, urging us to fit in or live up to certain standards. Cultivating inner acceptance means learning to quiet this noise. When you accept yourself without judgment, you allow yourself to recognize that you are enough, not because of your achievements or how others see you, but because you simply are. And this kind of acceptance doesn't mean you stop growing or improving. Rather, it allows you to approach growth from a place of inner peace rather than insecurity. To begin practicing this habit, start by observing your self-talk. How often do you criticize yourself? How often do you find yourself thinking you should be better, smarter, or more successful. Instead of letting these thoughts go unchallenged, replace them with reminders of your intrinsic worth. Acknowledge your imperfections without judging them. Reflect on Epictetus's wisdom. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This quote reflects a willingness to embrace our flaws without fear, to recognize that we don't need to be perfect to be worthy. Self-acceptance also frees us from the grip of regret, allowing us to move forward without being weighed down by the past. Too often, we allow our past mistakes to define us, letting old regrets fester into self-doubt and shame. But when you cultivate acceptance, you can see the past as a source of lessons rather than as evidence of unworthiness. The Stoics believed in viewing life as a continuous journey of learning, where missteps are not failures, but stepping stones to growth. When you accept yourself as a work in progress, you liberate yourself from perfectionism, freeing yourself to grow without fear of judgment. Every day, commit to reminding yourself that you are enough, just as you are. As you grow in acceptance, your focus shifts away from proving yourself to others and toward living in alignment with your true self. You'll find a quiet confidence emerging, one that is resilient, unshakable, and entirely yours. And when you hold this inner acceptance, the opinions of others lose their power, replaced by a serene strength that no one can take from you. Habit 4. Learn to say no without guilt. The fourth habit on this journey is learning to say no without guilt, a skill that is both simple and revolutionary. In a world that values busyness and productivity, the ability to say no becomes an act of self-respect and personal freedom. When we say yes to everything, we dilute our focus and scatter our energy, often ending up overwhelmed, resentful, and disconnected from what truly matters. Developing the courage to say no allows us to protect our time, our energy, and, most importantly, our peace of mind. Many people equate saying no with selfishness or rudeness, but this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, saying no is an affirmation of what you hold dear. It is a declaration that you respect yourself and your priorities enough to safeguard them. When you habitually say yes out of obligation or fear of disappointing others, you end up betraying your own values. Remember the Stoic principle. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Each no you give should be seen as a gift to yourself, a step toward a life aligned with your values and free from unnecessary burdens. The Stoics also recognize the importance of setting boundaries, understanding that boundaries aren't walls to keep others out, but protections to keep our inner peace intact. Think of it this way. When you say no to something that drains you, you're actually saying yes to something more valuable, perhaps time with loved ones, personal growth, or simply rest. This is the essence of self-care, something we often overlook in the hustle of daily life. Saying no without guilt allows us to reclaim our time, our focus, and ultimately, our joy. To begin practicing this habit, examine the reasons behind your yes. Are you agreeing to something out of fear, obligation, or because you genuinely want to? Each time you feel compelled to say yes when you really want to say no, pause. Ask yourself, am I respecting my own needs and values? Start with small steps. Perhaps declining a social invitation when you need time alone, or refusing an extra task at work that will lead to burnout. Every time you say no from a place of self-respect, you strengthen your boundaries and reinforce your commitment to living authentically. Over time, this habit will empower you to make decisions that align with your true self, rather than trying to please everyone around you. When you let go of the need to constantly say yes, you also let go of the need to be everything to everyone. You become free to live on your own terms, unburdened by the weight of others' expectations. And remember, each no brings you closer to a life that is focused, intentional, and authentically yours. Habit 5. Let go of the need to control others. The fifth habit on our journey is to release the need to control others. This habit is rooted in one of Stoicism's central teachings, understanding what is within our control and what is not. So much of our stress, frustration, and disappointment comes from trying to change people, to make them act or think in ways that fit our expectations. But as Epictetus wisely said, the chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself, which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. To stop caring about the unnecessary, we must recognize that others' thoughts, choices, and reactions are beyond our control. When we try to mold others to fit our desires, we not only waste energy, but create tension and frustration in our relationships. The need to control others often arises from insecurity or fear, a feeling that if others behave in a certain way, we'll feel safer or more validated. However, this is a false sense of security. True peace comes from accepting that everyone has their own path, their own struggles, and their own journey. Imagine trying to control the direction of the wind. No matter how much you wish it to blow in a certain direction, it will follow its own course. People, like the wind, are free to follow their own paths. When we release the need to control them, we free ourselves from a great source of stress. Practicing this habit can be liberating. Instead of feeling responsible for others' actions, we focus on our own growth and inner peace. The beauty of this habit is that it strengthens relationships by creating space for others to be themselves without judgment or pressure. To adopt this habit, start by recognizing the signs of control when they arise. Notice if you're trying to change someone's mind, manage their emotions, or influence their choices. Each time you feel the urge to control, remind yourself of Epictetus's words. Ask yourself, is this within my control, or am I imposing my will on someone else? Shift your focus inward to the things you can control, your own actions, reactions, and choices. Habit 6. Embrace impermanence. The sixth habit to cultivate if you wish to stop caring about trivial concerns is to embrace the impermanence of all things. The ancient Stoics understood that everything in life is transient, our experiences, our possessions, even our relationships. This habit, rooted in the concept of memento mori, is not intended to instill fear, but to liberate us from attachment. When we accept that nothing lasts forever, we begin to see the futility in clinging to the temporary and worrying over what we cannot hold on to. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, famously said, "Observe always that everything is the result of change, and get used to thinking that there is nothing nature loves so well as to change existing forms and to make new ones like them." This means that by nature, life is constantly evolving. Resisting change is like trying to stop a river's flow with your bare hands. When we embrace impermanence, we align ourselves with life's natural rhythm, letting go of the need to control outcomes or keep things the same. To put this habit into practice, start by observing the small changes around you. Notice how seasons shift, how emotions rise and fall, how circumstances transform. Every day, take a few moments to reflect on the transient nature of your worries, fears, and even desires. Recognize that just as joy is fleeting, so is pain. Just as success comes and goes, so do setbacks. When we truly understand impermanence, we gain freedom from the tyranny of our emotions and the weight of our worries. Accepting impermanence also fosters gratitude. When you understand that nothing is guaranteed, you begin to appreciate the present moment with greater depth. Epictetus reminds us to approach life's blessings as a visitor. When giving your wife or child a kiss, repeat to yourself, "I am kissing a mortal." This isn't about detachment. It's about cherishing each moment, each person, without the need to hold on or control. It's about learning to let go gracefully when the time comes, knowing that to cling is to suffer. As you integrate this habit, you'll find that your fear of loss diminishes. You become less troubled by the future, more anchored in the present, and more appreciative of what you have while you have it. By embracing impermanence, you free yourself from the constant worry over what might change, and instead welcome change as a natural part of life. This perspective brings a calm resilience that allows you to focus on the here and now, releasing what no longer serves you and cherishing the beauty of the present. Habit 7. Focus on internal validation. The seventh habit, which is essential to liberate yourself from the chains of others' opinions, is to shift your focus from external validation to internal validation. In today's world, we're surrounded by cues to seek approval, likes, comments, praise, and recognition. But the Stoics understood that real fulfillment comes not from what others think of us, but from living in alignment with our own values. To truly stop caring about what doesn't matter, we must cultivate a sense of self-worth that is rooted internally, not externally. Consider this. If you allow your self-worth to depend on external validation, you'll forever be at the mercy of others' opinions. One day you may be praised, the next, criticized. It's a never-ending roller coaster that leads to insecurity and self-doubt. Seneca teaches us that we should be content with our own judgment rather than letting others dictate how we feel about ourselves. The greatest blessings of mankind, he writes, are within us and within our reach. This means that everything you need to feel whole, fulfilled, and proud is already within you. To cultivate internal validation, start by defining your own values and principles. What qualities do you respect most in others? What actions make you feel most fulfilled? Make a conscious effort to act in ways that align with these values, regardless of whether others approve. If integrity, kindness, and courage are values you cherish, then strive to embody them without expecting applause. Over time, you'll find that your sense of self-worth grows stronger, anchored in actions that reflect your true character rather than in external feedback. This habit also calls for self-reflection. Set aside time each day to evaluate your actions and choices based on your own standards, not anyone else's. Did you act with honesty? Did you show compassion? Did you stay true to yourself? When you make decisions based on your inner principles, you experience a profound sense of peace, unburdened by the need for recognition. By shifting your focus to internal validation, you can move through life with a quiet, steady confidence that isn't easily shaken by criticism or flattery. As you embrace this habit, you'll notice a newfound freedom. You become less reactive, more centered, and more at ease with yourself. You stop seeking validation from outside sources and instead find fulfillment in living a life true to your own values. This doesn't mean you ignore feedback, but rather you take it in without letting it define you. By valuing yourself from within, you create an inner fortress, one that no opinion, praise, or judgment can penetrate. Habit 8. Practice emotional resilience. The 8th habit on this journey of letting go is to cultivate emotional resilience, the ability to face life's ups and downs with a calm and steady mind. Emotional resilience doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending that challenges don't affect you. Rather, it's about developing the capacity to experience emotions without being overwhelmed by them. The Stoics teach us that while we cannot always control what happens, we can control how we respond. Epictetus offers valuable insight here. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Emotional resilience is about reclaiming this power, understanding that no external event can dictate our inner state unless we allow it. Think of it as building an inner muscle. The more you practice responding to situations with calm and clarity, the stronger your emotional resilience becomes. And with this strength comes freedom. The freedom to face difficulties without being swept away by them. The freedom to feel without losing yourself in your feelings. To develop emotional resilience, start by observing your emotional reactions without judgment. When you encounter a stressful situation or feel overwhelmed, take a moment to pause. Breathe deeply and remind yourself that this feeling, like all others, will pass. Recognize that emotions are temporary states, not permanent reflections of reality. When you can separate yourself from the intensity of your emotions, you gain a clearer perspective and can respond more effectively. Another aspect of emotional resilience is practicing acceptance. Rather than fighting or resisting challenging emotions, accept them as natural responses to life's difficulties. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, obstacles and challenges are not enemies, but opportunities to grow stronger, to deepen our understanding, and to practice resilience. When you view adversity as a chance to strengthen your inner self, you transform pain into growth, frustration into patience. As you build emotional resilience, you'll find that fewer things disturb your peace. You become less reactive, more compassionate with yourself and others, and more equipped to handle whatever life brings your way. This habit allows you to weather life's storms with a sense of calm that doesn't depend on the external world, a calm that is yours to cultivate and carry with you, regardless of circumstances. Habit 9. Let go of comparison. The 9th habit to embrace, if you wish to free yourself from unnecessary cares, is to let go of comparison. Comparison is a thief of joy, as it leads us to measure our worth against others, trapping us in cycles of envy and inadequacy. The Stoics recognize that comparing ourselves to others distracts us from our own path, distorting our focus and draining our energy. Seneca wisely stated, "No man can be happy if he does not think himself so." Happiness and fulfillment arise from within, and comparing ourselves to others only distances us from our own contentment. In today's world, where social media constantly showcases others' achievements, beauty, and success, comparison has become an almost automatic habit. But consider this: every time you compare yourself to another, you are ignoring your own unique journey. You are rejecting your own path to follow someone else's. True peace and happiness come when you focus on your own growth, your own strengths, and your own values, without letting others' lives dictate your worth. To let go of comparison, practice gratitude for what you have and who you are. Take time each day to reflect on the strengths, qualities, and experiences that make you unique. Shift your focus from what others are doing to how you can grow, improve, and fulfill your own potential. Remember that each person has their own struggles and triumphs, and what you see on the surface often hides a deeper reality. Also, remind yourself that your value doesn't diminish just because someone else is succeeding. Just as a candle loses nothing by lighting another, your worth is not defined by others. Comparison is a distraction that keeps you from realizing your own greatness. By letting go of it, you free yourself to pursue your own goals and live in alignment with your own values. As you let go of comparison, you'll find a new appreciation for your own journey. You'll begin to celebrate others' successes without feeling that they diminish your own. This habit cultivates a sense of abundance, allowing you to see life as a journey filled with opportunities rather than as a competition. You'll feel lighter, more focused, and free to live a life that is entirely your own. Habit 10. Embrace solitude. The 10th and final habit is one that may seem counterintuitive in our fast-paced, interconnected world: the habit of embracing solitude. Spending time alone, in silence and reflection, can be one of the most powerful ways to reconnect with yourself, to understand your own thoughts, desires, and values, free from external influence. Solitude allows us to process life's events, gain clarity, and strengthen our inner resolve. The Stoics often practiced solitude, recognizing its power to bring insight and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, would retreat into his inner self to find guidance and strength. As he said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This habit of embracing solitude is about cultivating a space within yourself where you can find peace, wisdom, and clarity, independent of the world around you. To practice solitude, set aside time each day or week to be alone with your thoughts. Turn off your devices, let go of distractions, and simply sit with yourself. You may choose to meditate, journal, or reflect in silence. Allow yourself to explore your mind without judgment, to understand your desires and fears. Solitude is where you come face to face with yourself, where you let go of external noise and return to your own voice. As you grow comfortable in solitude, you'll find a deep sense of self-assurance developing within you. This is the space where true wisdom and insight arise, where you learn to trust yourself without the need for external validation. Solitude allows you to become your own counsel, to find clarity, and to ground yourself in a world filled with distractions. Embracing solitude doesn't mean rejecting social connections. It means developing a strength that comes from within, a strength that remains steady regardless of who is around. In solitude, you discover a profound sense of peace and independence. You learn to value your own thoughts, opinions, and presence. When you cultivate this habit, you become self-sufficient, resilient, and unbreakable, grounded in the deepest parts of yourself. Together, these 10 habits form a powerful foundation for a life of resilience, peace, and true freedom. As you practice each one, remember that change takes time and patience. These habits may be challenging at first, but with each step, you'll find yourself growing stronger, more centered, and less weighed down by the concerns that once troubled you. By embracing these Stoic-inspired practices, you'll be well on your way to a life filled with inner calm, unshakable self-worth, and true fulfillment. As you let go of the need to control others, you'll notice a new kind of freedom, one rooted in acceptance and respect. You will stop reacting to others with frustration or disappointment, and instead allow them the dignity of their own journey. This habit not only deepens your own peace, but also fosters healthier, more respectful relationships. Letting go of control doesn't mean indifference. It's an acknowledgement that each person is responsible for their own life. This understanding brings a profound sense of relief, freeing you from unnecessary worry and allowing you to focus on what truly matters, your own path and your own peace.